All right, well, welcome back, Merc Nation, to the Merc Method, and welcome to the Internal Monologue Awards, hosted by me, the only show where the nominees are intrusive thoughts, fake arguments, social anxiety flashbacks, and that one thing you said in 2014 that still wakes you up at 2 a.m. Today, we gather to celebrate the human brain, which is technically an incredible biological machine but also somehow capable of turning a two-word text message into a complete emotional collapse. Truly inspiring stuff, I think. And honestly, if you've ever stared at a text message that said okay and immediately thought, well, that person hates me, or the friendship has ended, or I probably should move to another state, then congratulations, you are among your people tonight. This episode that I wrote today is dedicated to the dramatic inner narratives that are living inside all of us, including myself. That little voice that turns ordering coffee into a hostage negotiation. The brain that decides bedtime is actually the perfect time to relive every embarrassing moment you've ever had. Don't worry, I see you, and I'm going to honor you today. You know what I feel deserves recognition? The speed at which our human brain can escalate absolutely nothing into a full psychological thriller. Like, if your boss emails you, can we talk? That's it. And suddenly your internal monologue becomes, well, I'm done. I'm finished. They discovered I printed personal documents at work in 2019. My career is over. I'll probably have to live in the woods. Meanwhile, your boss literally just forgot their password and needs help opening up a PDF. Brains can get so dramatic under stress, especially when we don't have complete information. The brain hates uncertainty. It would rather invent terrible answers than sit peacefully in the unknown for 5 minutes, right? And of course, our social media has made this way worse because now everybody has access to everybody all the time. So if someone doesn't respond immediately, your brain starts writing conspiracy theories. Your text messages don't go through, or you check them, and everybody's like, I need to see where their location is. I need to see if they're on Instagram. I need to see if they're on TikTok. If they're on TikTok or this, they have their phones in their hands. They should be texting me back. I used to do that all the time. I used to text message people all the time after they text me, and then I wouldn't get anything back and wonder what's happening. Did I say something wrong? I didn't word it correctly. And actually, they were probably just driving, or they just had a doctor's appointment or some kind of an appointment, and they were just texting real fast, and they didn't have time to text back yet because they have jobs and families and responsibilities. But my brain says, no, this is personal. They formed a committee against me. And honestly, anxiety deserves an award for creativity alone, right? I've had so many text messages that I've sent to people in the years that would sit there for hours and hours, and I would recontemplate whether or not I sent the wrong way, even if it was like the word okay or an emoji or anything like that. And no one would say anything back. And I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, was that the wrong emoji I used? Was okay not good enough? And they would have been in the shower or driving or something just dumb that I overreacted with, and they would tell me that as well. They're like, "Chill out, I'll get to your message when I can." Some people they were on break and went back to work. So even though I know that a lot of people are texting while they're working, guilty, but you have to you have to calm down a little bit. Sometimes people can't get to their messages right away, even if they are talking to you at that time. Can we please talk about why we have these embarrassing memories that are somehow stored in permanent high definition quality in our brains? Your brain forgets where you put your keys. I forget where I put my wallet that I can't stand to have all the time. But I can remember the weird laugh I had in seventh grade, like with clarity. You ever accidentally wave back at someone who wasn't waving at you? Man, that changes your DNA real quick, doesn't it? I wave at too many people. I'm like, "Oh, they're waving at me," and it's not me, it's somebody behind me. What an embarrassing, I'm starting to sweat moment. Oh, I love this one, and I hope this hits home with you at some point. Have you ever told the waiter "you too" after they say "enjoy your meal"? Oh, I can't stop doing it. That one gets me every single time. Or walk away from a conversation and suddenly replay the whole thing like game footage. Like, that went really well. Or should I said this? Oh, did they take it the way I took it? And the worst part is the replay always happens later, like at home when you feel like you're at peace, when you're just brushing your teeth or ready to go to bed. And hey, remember that joke nobody laughed at 2016? That comes up. Like, thanks, brain. Incredible timing. I wanted to go to bed and now you brought that crap up. Okay, next award. It's this year's Lifetime Achievement Award, and it goes to making phone calls. This is still one of our humanity's most terrifying activities for absolutely no reason. Who makes phone calls anymore? I do, but to the same three people. Most of it is text messages. No one wants to call each other at all. You might even rehearse a phone call for 20 minutes. Okay, say hello first and normal amount enthusiasm. Don't sound weird. Don't breathe too loud and to the point. Then they answer and your brain immediately leaves your body. You forgot completely what you were going to talk about. Or how about ordering food? I bet this hits home with some people. Why do we prepare for ordering food like it's a courtroom statement? Okay, medium iced coffee. Repeat it mentally. Medium iced coffee. Don't improvise. Stay focused. Hopefully, they don't ask us anything else and throws us off, right? I've done that. I'll say it all the way up the line. And then somehow you panic and say, "Can I get a large chicken?" And then you just shake it off and laugh, and then you kind of refocus. Now everyone's confused, right? But honestly, this is why I think people need more self compassion because half the time we're judging ourselves for being human. Nobody walks through life perfectly smooth and confident all the time. We're all just improvising life, right? We have to give ourselves some grace. I think I've told a lot of times in these episodes where we're kind of other people's background noise when we think that we're, the head of their stories. And that's not really the case. No one's perfect. But there is no confidence quite like winning an imaginary argument against someone who has no idea they're involved. You'd be sitting there, suddenly delivering some Oscar worthy speech to people who mildly annoyed you 3 years ago. I've done that. It just pops up randomly, and I could have said this to this person, and this could have happened, and so on and so forth. Real life, though, you think of the perfect response 4 business days later while loading the dishwasher, okay, or taking out the trash, or taking somebody to a soccer game. But this is actually really human. Our brains rehearse conflict because we want safety. We want control. We want to feel prepared. The problem is that brain doesn't always know when to stop rehearsing and start relaxing. We got to talk to ourselves a little differently. We have to allow ourselves to be more calm and more relaxed. And of course, nighttime is when the brain becomes a podcast you never subscribed to. You're exhausted, you finally get comfortable, and suddenly, hey, what if everyone secretly finds you annoying? Ooh, that's a good one, right? That's really hard for me. A lot of people that I've talked to, the nighttime is rough because your brain is trying to keep busy during the daytime. And then when you have that time to yourself, or you feel like it's a relaxing time because you're getting close to going to sleep, that's when your brain is like the loudest, right? And I have done that before. I've had actually said that exact same thing. How many people think I'm annoying? How many people like this podcast? In all honesty, that's not for me to decide. It's for you to decide whether or not you like this. And if you're listening to it, I think that you've kind of caught on to the concept that this podcast is just trying to help people through struggles or everyday life and just trying to push some positivity and motivation to understand that you're not alone. Back to the night thing. Usually, when you try to go to sleep, or whether or not if it's at midnight or in the morning, whatever shift you may be working, that's a perfect time for your brain to start talking about bills and mortality and those embarrassing middle school moments. Or if you offended somebody in like those texts we talked about, and your brain is going back and going, should I have said this instead? Or maybe that weird noise your car's been making for a very long time that you haven't fixed yet. I just fixed mine. It was the alternator. That's why I use that example. Isn't it funny how during the day you can handle these things logically? All these things that we go through, all these different errands and work and life, we try to handle those things as logical as possible, but at 1:14 in the morning, suddenly your entire future feels like a mystery thriller. Honestly, sometimes mental health isn't about silencing every negative thought. Sometimes it's just learning how to hand every random thought a microphone and stage lighting. I think we spend so much time criticizing ourselves that we forget to acknowledge the small victories that we get every single day. Like getting out of bed when your brain is heavy, answering a difficult text, taking a walk, making an appointment, trying again after a bad day, after a bad week, maybe a month, maybe a year. Those things count. We have to count the little wins. And maybe the goal isn't becoming a perfectly calm person with no weird thoughts. Maybe the goal is learning to laugh a little more, panic a little less, and remember that thoughts are not always facts. Your internal monologue may be dramatic sometimes, but it's also proof that you care, that you feel deeply, and that you're trying. And honestly, that deserves an award too. For all the jokes we make about our internal monologues, there's also a deep side to it. Because eventually you realize the voice in your head becomes the environment you live in every single day. And some people have been living inside criticism for so long that they don't even notice it anymore. Some of us wake up already disappointed in ourselves before the day even starts. I used to be like that before we've even done anything, before we even had our coffee. The brain immediately starts, you're behind, you should be doing more, you're wasting your time, other people have figured it out. You start collecting all these doubters. They're telling you you can't do this. They're telling you you can't start over. They're telling you you can't start a business. And after years, that voice stops sounding cruel and starts sounding normal. And that's the scary part. Because sometimes we don't even realize how hard we are on ourselves until someone talks to us kindly and it catches us off guard. I think a lot of people listening right now are exhausted, not because life is impossible, although sometimes it really is hard. Well, because they are carrying a constant emotional commentary against themselves every single day. And eventually your nervous system starts believing it. That's why self compassion matters so much. Not fake positivity, not pretending everything is amazing, just learning how to stop treating yourself like the enemy. For me personally, I think one of the biggest silent struggles people deal with now is feeling that they're running out of time. I felt that way, and I think that's why I feel that way as well. Because I've seen so many pass in front of me at an age where I didn't think they were going to pass. And I think a lot of people feel behind, or they're comparing themselves to other people where they feel like they should mirror these other individuals. You scroll online and somebody your age bought a house, started a business, maybe ran a marathon. Meanwhile, you're proud you've answered one difficult email without emotionally collapsing. And honestly, that still counts. I really want people to understand this. Your timeline is not broken. Life is not a race where everybody is hitting these milestones at the exact same moment. You guys aren't the same people. You have to do you at your pace. Some people bloom early. That's good for them. Some people rebuild themselves at 40. I did that. My wife did that. We're doing great right now. We're thriving. We're really building what we want to build. Some people survive things nobody else can see. And some people are carrying grief and anxiety and burnout and trauma and loneliness nobody talks about. And still they get up every day and try again. And that matters too. I think we underestimate the courage it takes to continuously show up for our life when our brain is tired. And maybe success isn't becoming perfect. Maybe success is refusing to give up on ourselves completely. Something I don't think we talk about enough, a lot of people are lonely right now. Not just physically alone, but emotionally alone. There are people surrounded by coworkers and families and group chats, and they still feel invisible because being seen and being known are two different things. And I think a lot of people have learned to perform being okay instead of actually being honest, especially adults. Adults become masters at saying, I'm good, I'm tired, I'm fine. When sometimes the truth is, I'm overwhelmed, I feel disconnected, I don't know who I am right now. There's nothing weak about admitting that at all. Honestly, one of the bravest things a person can do is become emotionally honest with themselves and not dramatic and not hopeless, but just honest. Because healing usually starts the moment pretending stops. And I think sometimes we imagine healing has to be this huge cinematic transformation. One day, inspirational music starts playing, and suddenly your entire life changes. Now, to be fair and honest, when I'm having a really great day and everything's going my way and I'm at an 11, I'm playing some inspirational instrumental music in the background and just feeling life because life is good. So just wanted to throw that out there. But most healing is quiet. It's tiny decisions repeated constantly. Getting outside for 10 minutes, drinking water, laughing more is a great one. Tiny things matter because tiny things become patterns and patterns become lives. And I think a lot of times under this chaos that we go through each and every day, we're underestimating how powerful our joy is. Real joy, not performative happiness for our social media posts. I mean, genuine moments where like our nervous system feels safe enough to breathe, to feel like you and not someone else. A good conversation, that awesome music in your car, whatever it may be. A dumb dad joke that makes you laugh too hard. Maybe your favorite meal. Those moments are not insignificant. That is life. And sometimes recovery starts when we stop waiting for gigantic breakthroughs and start paying attention to the moments that quietly keep us alive. I really need somebody listening right now on this episode to hear this part. You are allowed to restart at any age, after any mistake, after any bad season, after any failure, even after losing yourself for a while. You are allowed to rebuild. But healing is not linear. Growth is messy, people change, and life changes. Sometimes the version of you that survives a hard season is not the same version that entered it. And honestly, that's fine. There is no rule saying you must remain who you used to be forever. You become softer, wiser, calmer, more honest. For me, it's patient. I've learned through these hard times in the last so many months, patience is winning. Let things play out the way they are supposed to. And they are. Slowly but surely, they are growing. And to be honest, it's because of all you guys. You listening right now, you are part of this growth. You can outgrow survival mode. You can do it. I did it. I'm proof. And maybe that's what growth actually is, not becoming somebody else, but finally becoming somebody who feels safe being themselves. I think it's your time now. And if there's one thing that I hope you take away from this episode, it's this. Your mind is so powerful, but not every thought deserves the authority. Some thoughts are fears, some are exhaustion, some are old wounds trying to protect you. learning mental wellness isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about learning how to sit with yourself more gently. Talk to yourself the way you would like to talk to someone you love. Be patient with your progress. Celebrate those small victories. Laugh when you can. Rest when you can. It's much needed. And ask for the help when it really gets heavy. There are so many people quietly struggling beside you who also feel uncertain and overwhelmed and afraid and hopeful all at the same time. You are not strange for being human. You are human. And despite everything your internal monologue may say sometimes, there is still a future version of you worth fighting for. I want to say thank you personally for listening to this podcast episode today. Okay. You've got this, I promise. And wherever you are right now, driving home, maybe laying awake, trying to go to sleep, maybe sitting alone outside, I generally, with my whole heart, hope you keep going. The world needs more people who survived hard things and choose kindness anyways. Mark loves you and continues to want you to keep moving forward. And as always, when I leave you with this. Stay grounded, stay kind to yourself, and remember, strength begins with honesty. Until next time.